In November of 1910, after 9 years of construction, the Pennsylvania Railroad opened their crown jewel to the public. It was one of the greatest engineering achievements of its time, as it finally connected the island of Manhattan to the rest of the country. It was the fourth largest building in the world, and it was the pride of New York City. Its name was Penn Station. The building was championed by company president Alexander Cassatt, and it was designed by architect Charles McKim. The waiting room was large enough to house the entirety of Grand Central Terminal, and the train shed, which featured soaring glass ceilings and a thick glass floor, allowed natural light to filter down to the tracks below. The entire building was a monument to movement, as well as an expression of American economic power. Yet it only stood for 53 years. By 1955, automobiles and airplanes had become the preferred modes of transportation, and the Pennsylvania Railroad was headed for bankruptcy. The cost of maintaining their station had become prohibitive, so they made a secret deal with a private developer. That deal led to the confinement of the station underground and the removal of McKim's glorious gateway. Demolition began in 1963, and, despite protest, the building was gone in 3 years. Its remains were dumped into the marshes of New Jersey. Madison Square Garden was built where the station once stood. That sports arena, which was completed in 1968, still stands today. Many New Yorkers now describe Penn Station with dread and misery. They find it to be confusing, ugly, and chaotic. Historian Vincent Scully once described the difference between the original and current station with this quote: "One entered the city like a god. One scuttles in now like a rat." Some good, however, came from the station's demise, as it prevented Grand Central Terminal from meeting a similar fate. That train station, which has since been restored, is now one of the city's top tourist attractions. The destruction of Penn Station has been described as a monstrous act of public vandalism, but a chance for redemption has finally arrived. In the 21st century, train travel has once again become popular. Penn Station is now the Western Hemisphere's busiest rail hub, as it serves over 500,000 riders per day. But it was never designed to handle this kind of traffic. That's why renovation plans are currently underway. In January of 2017, a new entrance to Penn Station was opened across the street at the FARLEY post office. This historic building was built in 1912, and it was designed by Charles McKim to complement his original masterpiece. Scheduled to open in 2020, the building will feature a glass ceiling built to evoke the look and feel of its long-lost partner. The new train hall will be a much-needed improvement. However, it will only serve 20% of Penn Station's passengers. The other 80% will still scuttle underground, although they will be provided with a renovated interior. But architect Richard Cameron thinks the city can do better. His proposal, which is supported by the National Civic Arts Society, is to rebuild the original station. The way he sees it, the foundation is already in place. McKim's blueprints still exist, and the granite that was dumped in New Jersey can be recovered. Cameron's concept is not without precedent. Many historic buildings have been successfully reconstructed. So with enough political will, as well as public support, Penn Station could rise again.